Well, let's try this one. Is this Brian?
Yeah, man, it's me, brother.
What's up, man? It was 2773s. What's up? Talk to me.
Nothing. I'm good, man. You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. I should have known to block that person called YouTube troll anyway, because as long as they got Prime, they can come in and join, which I don't mind because they're still paying and they paying to get blocked. But when he said, and you call that dude emotional, ha ha ha. No, I'm very emotional when you're taking up my damn time, and I didn't call that dude emotional at all. So I don't know what you're talking about. So when you introduce arguments that were not made arguments, then I know you're just being a dick, and I don't need you being around me. I would like to have a real conversation with someone like you who said, hey, you disagree. You're on the side of them dudes. So go ahead, the other half of the guru and the whore, my man Brian in the building, the relationship rehab. Tell them why you are on the side of the dudes.
So I'm on the side of the guys because the guys were smart enough to outsmart the managers. And I say that because they didn't hold court in the street. Mm-hmm. They were respectful, and they simply stood their position of saying, I'm not going to buy something because, and if you think about it, why would somebody do that? Because they've probably seen it happen before where there have been people in there that haven't bought things, and they've been able to be in there. The place, and just from what I saw in the video footage, the place probably to them seemed like it wasn't crowded. It didn't look crowded. But the fact that the manager wanted them out, that manager didn't know how to go about getting them out the proper way. And there is a certain level of skill that you have to have when we're talking about people skills in order to do that. And the fact that you got the police involved and you got these guys down here and you don't have any type of policy that states why you're wanting them to get out, that put the ball in their court, and that's why this is working out in their favor. That's why they getting to meet with the CEO, and that person is now probably working in some Starbucks in fucking Anchorage somewhere because of the simple fact that they were able to say, hey, look, this is why I'm not going to pay because you don't have a policy. Just like if you go into a restaurant and you don't have on a shirt or you don't have on shoes. That's a clear policy that is stated. When you go somewhere, no shirt, no shoes, no service. There's no argument there. In Starbucks, however, they have a lounge-around environment. They have an environment that is conducive to people that just want to come, hang out, sip on something, eat a cake or cookie or whatever the case may be, and there is no specific policy that gives you some type of time as to when you have to purchase something. And those guys they knew that, and they were smart enough to play off of it. That's why they said we're not buying anything. We're waiting for our business partner or whatever because we're having a meeting or whatever the case may be, which could have been bullshit too because they could have just been an asshole about it. But they were smart enough to know that there was no policy specifying that they had to buy something and if there's some type of time frame. Just like if you go into Best Buy. If you go into Best Buy, what's the time limit that you have before you buy something before you have to leave? There isn't one. You can be in a Best Buy literally all day from open to close, and nobody can just put you out. Now, if we want to ask you to leave, there's certain ways you can do that. You can power serve that person. You can stay in that person's area. You can keep hassling that person to make it uncomfortable for them to leave, to where they want to leave. But because they didn't, those dudes knew how to conduct themselves, and that's why they're in the position that they're in. And at the end of the day, we live in the most litigious country in the world. This is what we do. And they played it to their advantage. I absolutely see that. I see that part of it. And I think that they should have been, the company should have been equipped. They should have had a policy in place to equip that manager to say, hey, after 30 minutes, if you haven't purchased something, regardless if you're waiting on a party or not, you have to wait outside until your party comes, and then we'll gladly serve you. If there was something like that in place, that would have been cut and dry. Those dudes would have been out of there, and even with the footage that they had, they wouldn't have had a leg to stand on because they would have said Starbucks clearly has a policy that states this.
All right, so I'm gonna deal with what you said. Number one, Best Buy does not have a capacity issue, so they wouldn't. That's number one. And number two, you're going into Best Buy to see what you could possibly want, and then when you decide you don't see anything that you want, you typically will leave. People don't just go to Best Buy to hang out. Number two, malls. Malls have done a great job in a lot of cases of kicking out people who are just walking around and not buying. Number three, You're right about Best Buy's not equipping, not Best Buy, but Starbucks, not equipping them with the ability to say, you have now violated this thing. You must go. But even if they said this, even if that was there, the person who has the argument, if they say, well, I saw other people who didn't listen to that argument get to stay, they're going to still do it. So they're going to use that. And lastly, you must be one of those people that's on like True Freeman side, because, well, it allows you to do it. And you did a good job of pushing your way into something. So good job. So it's a good thing that you're doing something. I mean, it's not his fault. The loophole is that YouTube allows you to just go around and fuck with people. So why not do it? YouTube allows you to flag somebody's stuff down and try to ruin their life. So why not do it? You're saying you agree with them because we live in a litigious society that they played the game.
I'm saying that. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're saying they played the game because they got out of it what they wanted. So you also agree with women who marry men and then get half of their money because they played the game, or women who keep kids away from the father because the law allows them to play that game, or women who are able to get like what they're doing to Bill Cosby or what they've done to anybody else. The law allowed them to do it. They put themselves in position to be able to use it. So there, right?
Well, no, because what I'm saying is once the manager pressed the issue, because the manager was the instigator in the whole situation, the manager pressed the issue with having or forcing them to buy something when she didn't. The manager pressed the issue when she wanted to get the police involved to actually have them thrown out, because there was no line there. So that situation could have been tolerated. And in customer service, we all have a point to where you deal with a customer that you may not like, but you try to satisfy every customer, even if it makes you uncomfortable. As long as it's not disturbing your environment or disturbing other customers, there are no other customers complaining, you absolutely try to afford that customer that leniency that you would want for anybody to have. And you can't pick and choose that.
So as a manager, okay, so as a manager, when you don't...
Just let me finish.
Go ahead.
Good customer service is going to be, if I can, I will. And then if it's a problem to where it's harming somebody else or hurting my business, then I won't. That business was being hurted with those two dudes sitting there.
Okay. Now, there are plenty of restaurants, and you don't see a decibel level of how loud you are allowed to be at a table. You don't see it. Never seen this thing. Mm-hmm. But you've also seen them remove people for being too loud at a table. Now, you manage a place, and you see somebody being loud, but no one's complained to you. Is your job as a manager to only manage things that are going wrong, or to anticipate things that could go wrong?
My job is to anticipate things to go wrong. So if I hear somebody that is loud in my restaurant, I'm going to use my people skills to see the body language in my customers. So my customers don't necessarily have to tell me something verbally, but they can indicate it by their body language. I can see the grimace on a person's face.
Okay, so they have a grimace. Okay,
I can see another customer rolling.
Okay, so let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with it. So you see the grimace on someone's face, and they didn't say anything to you. They didn't complain to you, but you felt like, so you went over to these people and said, if you don't mind, and you said it really nice, if you don't mind, could you please keep it down a little bit? We have other people in here, and they want to enjoy their stuff as well, and they want to be able to have a discussion. Motherfucker, ain't nobody else complaining but you. I understand.
Well, I'm going to do it different. Mm-hmm. I hear what you're saying. I'm going to do it different. If I see that grimace on my customer's face, I'm going to go and contact the customer first. I'm going to contact the person that I see that's possibly having a problem. And I'm going to go over there, fight to them and say, things getting a little too loud for you, sir. And if they be like, oh, yeah, maybe so, whatever, not making a scene, then I'm going to go and approach them. And if they do get out of pocket, I now have some type of evidence to show, well, hey, we have some people that are here that are complaining about.
Now, let me tell you what you just did.
So,
let me tell you what you just did. Let me tell you what you just did. No. We both got to stop. We can't monopolize the discussion. I'm asking you short stuff. You can't just sit up there and just say, let me go. When you say something, I should be able to address it. First off, I was just asking you what you would do. You said what you would do. So anything else that needs to be said, that means that cutting me off is wrong. Let's go there. You said what you would do. So I'm saying to you, this is a problem. Why? because it's the equivalent of walking up to your brother, your dad walking up to your brother, asking him something while you're sitting right there, and then coming to you when your brother say, yeah, he did it, then go over to you and say, well, I've been alerted that you're doing something. What else did you alert those people of? What else did your father alert you of that your brother told?
That's my mistake, because that's my mistake, because I'm not going to do it if they're sitting like right next to the person at that table.
Because that's the only way you can do it. Because the people who have the biggest problem are, that was my point. The people who have the biggest problem with it are sitting near them. So you as a manager, which is obvious who you are going to walk up, bend over, and say something to that person, and they say, yeah. And then you're going to walk over and tell those people, we're getting complaints. What do you think you just did?
I'm putting them in the situation. That's why I said, and that's to my fault that I should not say that. If it's somewhere where I can see that customer who can see me contacting that person, I'm not going to say that. That person doesn't necessarily have to be sitting right next to them for the noise to be a problem for them. That's my point. It's all relative. It's all based on what you think and what you feel. And when you get to that point when you want to make a move on it, then you have to have something to stand on with it.
Do you understand that the thing you just said to do? Well, do you understand the thing you just said to do? You had time to think about it and all of that, and you still chose wrong. This man didn't have time to think about it. It was just there, and he did what he thought was right by asking them to do something. Now, we as black people know, and you know this, so it's shocking that we won't understand that when it comes to other people. If I ask you nicely to just do something, which would help me out, and you say no, when you do that to black folks, you've seen video of black managers whoop the customer's ass because the customer said something smart to them. So why are we so shocked at the white man who would ask you 3 times to just leave, and you say no, and they didn't whoop your ass, they didn't yell at you, spit in your drink, nothing. They literally just called the police. We the same people that accept black folks whooping our ass at places because we won't listen. But the white man got to be punked. Why is that?
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that at all. My point is this. At that point when I get that pushback, then it's like now I have to make another decision on how far am I willing to go. And that's my whole point with this is how far are you willing to go? Are you willing with cameras on, police here, 6 cops gathered around, 2 dudes who have not shown you any hostility? Is that where you want to take this because you don't want them there? You have no reason to just say, well, they did this and they did that and they did this. That's why they're not there. They simply did not want to purchase at that time, or if they didn't want to purchase
No, they didn't want to purchase at all.
Cool. I'm not disputing that.
No. They didn't want to purchase at all. They didn't want to purchase. Yes, but they didn't want to purchase at all.
And if I want to take it to where the SWAT team is there, then that's my call, but I got to live with that.
But that's my point. I don't agree, and I keep saying it. I don't agree with the idea of them getting arrested, meaning the dude having to push it that far. But then I also have to ask, well, what should have been done? When I asked you what should have been done, the first thing you said was a bad solution. But it was the first thing you said. Yep. You've had time to think about it. So I'm going to ask you again. And what should the manager have done?
We can stay with that. Let's stay with my bad decision. At that point, when I made a bad decision, are the police there? Are they being arrested? And is there a point to where I can now back out of it? At that point, when I made that bad decision, well, ain't nobody saying nothing but you, motherfucker. Can I then just back away and be like, you know what? Let me leave.
But hold on. But they wouldn't. That was the first thing I was saying. Whoa. That was the first thing. Hold on. That was the first thing I said to you. And you said, no, I wouldn't have just done it like that. I would have asked somebody first.
You said that's when I made the mistake.
No. When you made the mistake was when you went, I'm saying you made the mistake when you had walked up to a customer in your manager outfit on that was close to or near this individual or this table. They see you walking out there. Most people who are at any restaurant sees the manager. You go walk over to somebody, put your head down. They don't hear what you said, but they now know you're walking over to them because you got confirmation now that they've been loud. You felt they were loud, but you wanted to poll the crowd. Now the crowd is letting you know they loud too. So now you go up to that person. And when you went up to that person, their response isn't going to be at that point, motherfucker, ain't nobody else complaining. They're going to turn their ire to the other people who complained.
That's what you say. So you saying that's what my second mistake is then?
That was just that. No,
the first one is me contacting the other people, and then the second mistake is when I'll contact the people who's actually making the noise. Then, right?
Yes, because now you've turned that person onto the fact of the snitch. That's why I gave the example of your father's talking to your brother, and you watch him do it, and then he walks away from your brother and walks to you and says, "So you broke that table, huh?" Okay. You're going to take the ass whooping, you're going to take the punishment, and you're going to take it out on your brother.
At my second mistake, I'm still not at a point to where my company is going to be looking bad, going to be in the papers and on the internet. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you are. When hold on. Yes, you are. That person, that person then says, "I'm not going to shut up." What do you do?
Okay. You're not gonna shut up. Nope. I understand that, sir. You don't want to shut up, and here's it. You don't want to shut up. I understand that. However, it's affecting the entire environment of this restaurant.
And they say, so what are you gonna do?
That's what you want to do.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm pissing them off now, and I'm constantly pissing them off now. And that's when the cameras come out. That's when the phones come out, and they're recording it. It's gonna be me being professional, saying, "All I'm asking you, sir, is to quiet down. All I'm asking you, sir, is to not be loud." Because now I'm making them look like the fucking idiots.
I know, but
that everybody gonna be talking about.
But now you walk. So you're saying you say, "I'm just asking you to be quiet," and they say, "No, fuck you," and you just walk off, right?
I'm gonna kill them with what I'm saying is I'm gonna kill them with kindness, to where if there is footage like there was with this situation, then that footage is going to reflect them being the ones out of control. Because once I'm the motherfucker,
yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. Yeah,
but that has nothing to do. Motherfucker that's doing
okay,
this,
so what you're saying is, so what you're saying now is tomorrow somebody will release footage showing them being loud, but you're gonna walk off.
Now, and if they do that, if they show them coming up in there saying, "Motherfucker, I ain't going nowhere, I ain't buying shit," and I sit the fuck down, them dudes ain't gonna have a leg to stand on, because they're gonna be the ones that kick the shit off.
No,
me being the one that just
what do you mean they're not going to have a leg to stand on? I keep asking you what you're going to do next. And if you said you're going to walk away, there is no leg to stand on because there is no issue. You walked off.
No, I said that's an option. I said that's an option for
me. I want to know what you do. So I can't argue against your option. Tell me what you do, because these people are being criticized for what they did. So I keep asking the simple question, what are you going to do? Tell me what you do. Give me your scenario so I can at least judge it. Go.
My scenario is this. I'm not going to do my move is I'm not going to do anything that's going to make me embarrass the company.
You're telling me what you're not going to do. Tell me what you are going to do. It can't be that difficult.
I'm not just going.
Go ahead. It can't be that difficult when I keep saying, what are you going to do? That is a cop-out to tell people what they're not going to do. All I know is I'm not going to hurt my wife's feelings. Like, come on, dog. You know that's not an answer.
What I'm saying is I am not going so, and we can, if you just want me to say, well, in this situation, I'm not going to say I'm
60 seconds.
That's what I'm not going to do, because I don't want the police to come to look at this restaurant that I'm managing and say, well, this is why we on the news, because that's why they're on the news. You can do whatever it is you're going to do. It doesn't matter until you go to the next level. It's just like with a fight. You can argue back and forth with a motherfucker all day until somebody flings. Then it's at the next level. It doesn't matter what that person did, right or wrong. The problem was when the cuff got slapped on this person. That's when the problem came. That's when Starbucks started apologizing. That's when the police chief of Philadelphia started saying the rhetoric he was saying. It's once the Cubs got involved. Those dudes were arrested for not buying some shit.
No.
10 seconds.
No, sir. They were arrested for loitering and trespassing. Not buying some shit.
Well, you're right. You're correct. That is
They could have left and not
the
bought
actual
shit.
law that they broke.
They could have left and not bought
they
shit.
wouldn't buy something.
They could have left
Right.
and not bought shit. I'll say it one more time. They could have left and not bought shit and wouldn't have been arrested. Same as if your brother can come to your house right now, and if he does something to piss you off during the family reunion, and you tell him you got to go. Yeah, you fucked up the family reunion by making it look bad by calling the police to have your own brother removed. But when I asked you the question, or your mama asked you the question, or your grandmama or your aunt asked the question, why did you do that? The answer has to be something else. Because if you go back to them and you say, well, you saw that Michael or John or whatever his name would be, I kept asking him to leave, and he wouldn't. So you'd ask them the same question I keep asking you that you won't give me an answer to. What would you do, not what wouldn't you do? Because what wouldn't you do doesn't help me.
I misunderstood you. I misunderstood you. I don't want them. If I don't want them in there, then I'm absolutely going to ask them to leave. I'm totally on that side. I never said that was even the problem.
So then, when they say, let's get back to where I was. That there is no answer. Wait. So let me moderate. So now let's get back to the place where I was. That I've been looking for an answer for 15 minutes now. Let's try it again. They say, fuck you, we're not going. You've been nice. They've recorded it. You went to the other people and asked. You did everything the right way. And they still told you no. What do you do now?
I know that I'm going to let it ride because I know the only way I can get them out is because if I call the police. And I don't want to do that. I don't want the police in my store.
So we're back to what I said earlier, which when I was trying to, but that's what I mean. Yes, but these discussions can be made shorter if when an answer is said, then another person gets to come back and say it or respond to that. So you said you would just ride it out. So now I go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
okay.
Ride.
So now you just said that your customers complained to you. You went to that customer. That customer said, fuck you and them, and you just leave them there.
Right.
So now you went from a non-paying customer staying to paying customers leave. Because of your failure to act.
You said because of my failure to act?
You just said that the other customers who were paying customers complained at the non-paying customer. You said because you didn't want to get the police involved or turn it into a big to-do, you went back to them people and told them, y'all saw me ask them. They said they're not leaving. So I'm just going to let it ride out. What do you think they're going to do? The people who asked you, the people who were paying, who came to you, the manager. Google the word, look at the definition, and now you will know why I said this. Because it is his job to manage what's going on. And he has to now decide who's more important, the people who are paying that are complaining or the people who isn't, who's enjoying everything that the people who are paying are enjoying.
Exactly. And why? So that's what I'm saying. So why would those people be offended if those two dudes are just sitting there?
No.
I don't.
We were just going to. We went to. I just dealt with the scenario. I just dealt with the scenario. When we go back to them, because again, we're just trying to find out what would one do. So no one's complaining in this situation. We'll go back to this then. You are the manager. They're just there. You're saying you'd let it ride out. I agree with you. I agree with you, man. It was not big enough to arrest someone. That's why I keep saying the arrest part, you didn't have to go there. I agree with you on that. But if someone goes and says, no, I want them out of here. Because again, that's why I brought up what happened in South Carolina. You can leave people in there who are combative like that. And then that person shoot up the place. Because I wouldn't want anyone around me who's that much of a dick. And it surely wouldn't want them around the other patrons. And that's why them white people are dicks who are running around saying, we should have been left there. Because then if that same nigga had shot up the place, robbed somebody or done something, then they would have been looking at, why didn't the manager say something? They were just sitting in there. They were just sitting in there not doing anything. And once you told them to buy something, they said no. And you did nothing. The same white people who are on their side would turn on that manager had it been the other way. Had he asked them, if you could do something, please just buy something. We ain't got to do it. Nobody else did it. Ain't right. We'll just let them sit here. My bad. I'm sorry for asking you. My bad. Let me walk off and go on in the back with my tail tucked between my legs. You would do this publicly, sir. What do you think the other patrons would feel when they watch you publicly humiliated by trying to just tell the group of people, if you don't mind, I know you guys are just sitting here. Can you buy something so you can just sit here so we can feel like, everybody else is in here is paying? And they said, no, fuck you. We've seen people come in here and they didn't pay, so fuck you. This was public, that this was done to you. What power do you have left at that point as managing your establishment? He's dealing the same as parents deal. When parents... If something happened between you and your parent one-on-one, you might be able to get away with it more than if it happened in front of the other siblings. But go ahead.
In that instance, when you're talking about somebody basically, here's my thing, if you being disrespectful, motherfucker telling you, fuck you, motherfucker telling you, I ain't doing shit, fuck that, fuck out my face, that's totally different because now you have, hey, you causing a disturbance. When you're talking about somebody who's just saying, I'm waiting on a business partner, and this person, we having a business meeting, once this person gets here, whatever the case may be, because we don't know the full dialogue. But all I'm saying is that if I'm at a point to where I feel like I'm disrespected or customers are being disrespected, then that's a decision I'm going to have to make. And if I make the wrong one, if I do make the wrong one, I get it. But what I'm saying is from what I saw in that, you could have let that ride and see how that played out. That's all I'm saying. Because you can add as many variables as you want, and those variables are going to change what you can do, what you should do, what you might do, what's right and what's wrong. You can do that. But what I saw in that situation, I would not have said, I need to police 6 officers to get this dude up out of here because I asked him to patronize the business, and he said no. And I didn't see those dudes throw any motherfuckers. I didn't see them throw, this is some bullshit, even when the cuffs got put on them. They were quiet.
And I agreed with that. I said, the one thing I'm going to give them credit for is they didn't put themselves in position to be anything other than arrested. That's it. And they expected the arrest, and they were okay with the arrest. And I want to address fair play. I'll get to you back in a second. I just got to address something that I saw her write. She said, we went from popping a squat to shooting up the place. Ha, ha, ha. No offense, dear. And I almost used the B word because I get mad when people say shit that can easily be refuted within seconds, but I didn't do it. But I'm going to say miss. Go look up the South Carolina, Mr. Roof, how he shot those people. And why don't you tell me how the fuck it started? Could you do that for me? Tell me how the fuck it started and how the fuck it ended. Now I want to say to you, you're right. And I agreed. I think they played the system. The system afforded them to be able to do this. But I'm not going to sit up here and say that that manager was just a bad dude for saying, if you refuse to leave, I'm calling the police. Because he might have not been a man. He probably was a man a little bit older than me. And as a man that's a little bit older than me, he probably wasn't thinking, wait a minute, everybody's recording this. A lot of times you do stuff just like when what's her name was doing with the baby stroller. You know what she wasn't even thinking, which she should have, because that's her life. People are recording me. In the midst of things, do you know what most people don't think about? People are recording me.
Recording them. Yep, that's true.
So in the moment, that's why I was saying, that's why I kept saying you've had several moments. Rick Coley said, this ain't Mr. Roof. Rick Coley, the next motherfucker that say something to me like this, and Rick Coley, I don't know you, I will block you. You telling me this ain't Mr. Roof. Well, when Mr. Roof sat down, he wasn't Mr. Roof, you fucking dick. He was just a dude enjoying the service. He didn't fit in, but he was just a dude that was enjoying the service. So Mr. Roof only became Mr. Roof after he shot people, you dick. And I'm sick of people saying, only looking at a situation after it's happening and saying, well, that's who that is. Just like how y'all like to say that guy looks like a molester. Once you know he's a molester, it's easy to say he looked like one. What the fuck did he look like before he molested anybody?
And that's exactly how you should, and that's their fault. But you should look at somebody like that. If I see, and that's why I said, I'm sure that's why that dude wanted them out of there. Them dudes didn't look like no fucking real estate brokers. They didn't look like they were businessmen. Them dudes was in there with fucking hoodies on and jogging pants with fucking braids in their hair. Could they be? Absolutely. We don't know if this was their first real estate deal or their 30th. That's all relative.
Right, because I'm looking at the dude's picture right now.
To be treated.
Well, the picture on the bottom of the screen from me. You're not thinking that guy's trying to do a real estate
that
deal.
He don't look like no fucking real estate broker. He don't like he's there to conduct no business. He don't. Could he be? Yes.
So
and that's why I think you brought up the Dylan Roof point, was that people looked at him as saying, "Oh, we got us a white boy in church," as opposed to saying, "Why the fuck is this white boy in an all-black church?"
That's what I'm saying.
I have, and I do security at my church, and if I see a white person, I'm all over their ass. I'm looking at them. I'm on the walkie. Hey, man, let's get somebody next to that guy. Let's contact that guy, see what the fuck he doing in here, because it's not normal. Are there a few white people that come to the church? Absolutely. But I know them, and I'm going to contact any of them that I don't know.
And see, I feel what you're saying. You're saying, but you wouldn't just have them kicked out or have the police come take them out. What you would do is just keep your eyes on them and make sure. But I think here's the problem. Starbucks didn't have someone to just, quote unquote, keep their eyes on them. Because you're standing behind the counter. Whatever they're going to do is out there.
Right. That's true. Very true. I mean, the way that those two dudes look, beard, uncombed hair, and all, could those be the same exact dudes that could have came in there and stuck that place up and robbed everybody in there? Yes. Absolutely could have been. They could have been the same dudes that could have been in there to conduct a multi-million-dollar deal too. You don't know.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If you're going to conduct a multi-million-dollar deal, please just buy a cup of coffee so we can get some of that money that you just made in my store. I mean, seriously.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I said them dudes could have just been a dick and just been like, you know what? They don't have no law saying that you got to do this in a certain amount of time. So I'm going to be a dick and I'm going to say no. I'm not. My only thing is that because of how you look and because of the way you carry yourself, that shit went way left. And normally, them two dudes would have been talking cash shit. They would have been ignorant. When the police got there, they would have cussed out the police. They would have either got their ass whooped,
no, they played the game right.
And then it just would have been Black Lives Matter out there instead of the CEO on Good Morning America apologizing. It could have very easily went the other way.
No, and look, I can agree with your argument about he did not have to call the police. He really didn't. Because like you said, but this is why I want to see footage beforehand. How did they respond to him saying no? Do you know that's the one thing we don't have?
Right.
We only have footage of them responding to the police.
Were they laughing? Were they having a good time? Were they talking?
Right, because we don't know if they said, fuck you, nigga, we ain't going nowhere.
Because that would creep me the fuck out.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know how they said no to him, which even pushed him to call the police.
Very true. And that's why I was saying, just looking at from what I saw, and like I said, because that shit is all relative and it's all perception. If those dudes came in there and they were talking, if that was me and you in there, that shit probably wouldn't have happened. Because we would have been in there laughing, talking shit, having a good time, and they would have seen, oh, these dudes in here, they having a good time, they cool, black guys. Yep. And we probably would have bought some shit. Them two dudes could have walked in there looking mad and mean in a motherfucker, sitting there talking about, yeah, this motherfucker better come in here with these right numbers for this real estate deal, or I'm going to be mad than a motherfucker. They could have been doing that, and they could have been giving off the perception where they look like they about to fucking rob the place.
Let me tell you this. And that reminded me of my friend. She was here, and we went to Starbucks. And she was telling me about some kind of sandwich that she really wanted me to eat this sandwich, and we were going to go walk, whatever you call it, jog, hiking. One of the few black, she's light skinned, so she do that. But we were supposed to go hiking. We went in there and we walked in and we bought something. I was high. I've been high a lot, but I was I was high, so I was like, I gotta sit down a little bit. Gotta sit down. So I walked out of the place after I gave her the money, and I went and sit down in the car. So she ordered some stuff, and of course, when people order me stuff, I'm a weird person the way I order stuff. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, you don't have this, you don't have this. So I went back in there and got it. Went back to the car, and then she was thinking about something else. And I told her, I said, oh, I'm not going back in there. She said, well, why not? I said, I was in there looking like how I look, standing in the line. I know I look high. I believe I'm looking high. I gave you money and walked out. I then walked back in later. We've been sitting in this parking lot about 30 minutes. Didn't look suspect as hell. It looked like we casing the place. She started laughing. I said, I don't want to put them through. Yeah, I said, I don't want to put them through having to figure out who the hell I am. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I give a damn.
Yeah.
And these dudes, and somebody in the comment section said this, I'll let you address this. And then I think people are weirded out by seeing us disagree. But I think what people need to understand is one of the things about siblings, relatives, and all that is you feel like you can disagree because you feel like little silly shit ain't going to make them dislike you. You'd hope.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I don't watch. You know, when I'm talking, I don't watch the comments, but I don't know why people would think that. Like, shit, we disagree. We didn't disagree a couple of times.
Right.
Shit.
We disagreed on the show. We was on the show together. So to me, that makes the conversation better because when you kept arguing at one point, you see how I said, wait a minute, I can concede to that point. Because if you say it and you say it in a way that makes sense, I'm like, well, that is true. There was a way that he did not have to go to this place. That's why I wish we had footage of what they said to him. Because all we know is they refused. The police is asking them to leave. This is what I don't understand. Because from what you say, well, do you know this would have ended completely different had these guys just got up and walked out when the police came? Even though the police were asked.
And I think that, and I think to those guys, because I'm not just going to assume that these guys are fucking idiots, but I think the dudes, and that's why I typed that in the comments, and I think them dudes saw the opportunity to be on some Rosa Parks shit.
That's my point.
We're going to be like, fuck that, hell no, we ain't going to motherfucking...
That's why they didn't wild out.
In their favor.
Well, that's why, to me, you can tell it was calculated.
That's why they didn't go crazy.
Yep. That to me lets you know it was calculated. So if anything else, I was giving them credit for at least being calculating because it's the one thing that women do and white people do. What do women do when they acting out before the police come? They calling you all kind of fuck niggas, ain't shit niggas, and I kick your ass niggas. But as soon as the police come, they start crying, talking about some you was on them. They play the game.
Yep.
White people call you all kind of niggas till the police arrive. A white bitch will fold up. Oh no. Ain't telling them all the shit you said before I slap fuck out you. So they played the game. Right. So I got to give these dudes credit for playing the game. They saw what situation they were in. They said, you ain't going to shoot us. They said, you ain't going to make it to where people going to say we acted out. We might have acted out before the police came. Now the police is here. Let's play it right. So I said, I'm glad they didn't do that. And they did that. But at the same time, I'm on the side of business because I'm a business person. And as a person who has a business, the last thing I want to be told, like when I kick people out of the damn comment section, last thing I want to be told is if you cannot stay here because of the rules, and the person I kicked out earlier, they paid. They didn't pay me, but they paid because they got their Twitch Prime. So they got in free, and that's why they did it. So what the call was for anybody who has Twitch, go over to Tommy's show and act a fucking fool. I get it, and I accept it. But I also know I have a block button, and I don't mind hitting it. But that's what you're dealing with. Right. You're dealing with people who situation exists and know that they can profit off of it or exploit it. And I will never be on the side of people who do that. I don't care who it is.
And to Starbucks, to their responsibility in this, if you have those type of issues, if you have managers that are going through this type of stuff, because I'm sure that's not the first time somebody's been kicked out of a Starbucks. I'm sure that's not the first time that the police have been involved in kicking somebody out of a Starbucks. I just believe that this was probably one of those rare times where it was recorded and the people who were being kicked out knew how to behave. And I think that is what made it a bad look for Starbucks. And Starbucks should have a policy in place that supports those type of situations. It's
And I
just
tell,
like when
but
worked
wait,
in
can I say
retail-
this? Can I say this? And because hopefully
Yeah.
you will continue to say what you're saying by addressing this as well. I guarantee you that one of the manager parts of the training is anytime you feel like a situation is getting to the place where you cannot handle it, you call the police and you let them deal with it. I guarantee you that's a part of it. And I think that's probably why he was so comfortable doing it.
So here's the way that we were taught. If there's a situation that you're having with a customer and that customer is causing a problem, being a manager, once you get to the point to where that person is either making you feel unsafe or the environment is now becoming unsafe, you make 2 phone calls. The first phone call you make is to the police. The second phone call you make is to your DM, your district manager. Because what that district manager is going to do, that district manager is going to get legal involved right there in the moment. And you could very well possibly get a call from a lawyer in your store right then and there telling you what to do. So it's like, and in that instance, that would have covered you. So, hey, I'm feeling unsafe. This dude called me a motherfucker, and I feel scared. Cool. I called the police. Now I called my district manager. That district manager and put a call into a lawyer, or that district manager is coaching me, telling me what to do, when the police get there, how to behave, whatever the case may be, or tell the police what you want them to know or what you want them to do, or lawyers involved doing it and taking it right there. So that I'm out of the equation now, and I still ain't going to have to go work in Alaska.
Yeah, but and then here's
I got a bad look.
I hear you, but then here's the next step. If you got that call and you're the district manager, where the person called and asked you that question, what kind of confidence are you going to have in their ability to handle a situation when they had to call you, when you hired them to be that person and they had to call you? What kind of confidence are you going to have in them?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how that could go. Like, man, this man don't know what he's doing. He's scared, or he don't know how to carry himself. I can see that. I can see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. That could even be, just even from an ego point of view, from the manager's perspective. He'd be like, man, I feel like I got to call my big brother, or I got to call my daddy to come help me in this situation. I don't want to have to do
That's
that.
what I'm saying. I have no confidence. I have no confidence in the person now. And I'm like, well, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You should have known what to do. Why do I have to do this? But like you said, it goes back to what you're saying. We're living in a litigious society. And because we live in a litigious society, that is an issue. And so he has to be cognizant of this, and he wasn't. But I would have been like him, and it would have fucked me up. Because I would have said, and I think most humans would have done what this man did. I hear what you're saying, that they let some people stay in here, and somebody just sent me a message and said that's not fair what you said, because they do real estate business and they've met people looking dirty and stuff. Yeah, but you meet your client, and you shouldn't be meeting them at what? You shouldn't be meeting them at Starbucks or anywhere. I don't understand the purpose of you're meeting at a public place, but going to say you came in looking like you just came out of an oil field. Who does that? And even if you do it, if they ask, at that point, you know how you look. And if they say, well, if you're going to sit in here, you need to buy something looking like that. Most people would say, well, I understand that. I'll do that. It's like situational awareness should go for both people. But because of the way the world is today, and I'm going to give you the last word. To me, because of the way the world works, only the people who have something to lose are supposed to have situational awareness. The people who have something to gain can push the people who have something to lose until they can get them to find any misstep. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just to bring it all full circle, because I get both sides. And my thing is this: when you are dressed like a businessman, you will more than likely, or the greater majority of the time, be treated as such. When you're dressed like a blue-collar worker, you will more than likely be treated as such. When you dress like the liquor store robber in a fucking 1990s fucking gang-banging movie, you will be treated as such. And like you said, that manager could have looked at them and been like, man, these boys in the hood-ass motherfuckers, I want them out of my store. Plain and simple, just because of the way that they look. And people can say all day long, that ain't right, that ain't fair, but the way that you dress and the way that you carry yourself, most people that are real estate agents, that are real estate brokers, they don't dress like thugs. Can they wear jeans and gym shoes and a baseball hat? Absolutely. But they don't dress like thugs. They don't wear the long white T-shirt with the sagging tight jeans and the Jordans that ain't tied up. They don't do that. So there's a aspect of that you have to acknowledge to see how somebody is going to treat you. And then once you open your mouth, that essentially will seal the deal one way or the other.
Yeah. And I want to say this to you about what somebody said in the chat room. They said many of these coffee houses have been having a rash of thefts to where what the people are doing is going in there knowing that other people are working on their laptops, and they're waiting on those people to go to the bathroom, and they're picking up their laptops. And the funny thing is, I can believe it, because I remember when I was you don't think about it. When I was at the airport in Indianapolis when I was coming back. No. That was in Texas, that small ass airport in Texas. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was walking around with the camera, I had left my other phones and all of my stuff at the table. Now, I had become stupid, and when I got too far away, I said, oh shit, I left my stuff over there. But most people aren't thinking like that when they're at a place like that. They fuck up. You think, oh, I could just walk away because everybody else is here. I'm just going to the bathroom. And that's how thieves are getting stuff. When I talked to my the Amazon person who dropped my stuff off yesterday, they said, we're not allowed anymore to leave stuff on the front door of our neighborhood. And I'm thinking, we live in a nice neighborhood. They said, yeah, but you guys remember when I put up that video of those girls stealing from my front door? It's a smart thing that people are going. They said nice neighborhoods have nice shit delivered. So what they would do is just go through the nice neighborhood. They'd ring on the doorbell when they see a package. If you didn't answer your doorbell, they went and took your packages. That's exactly what the person is saying has been happening at these coffee houses, and I can believe it. Because if you're just sitting there working, you're not going to fold your computer down to go into the bathroom and use the bathroom and come back. You're going to assume that everybody else is there doing business. They're paying for $5 coffee.
Yep.
What's the problem, though? If you allow somebody that's not paying for the $5 coffee, who you typically got in there?
Yeah.
Who is that usually that won't pay for the $5 coffee at a coffee house?
Yeah, I get it.
So
I totally get that.
So he was in a screwed up spot.
That's why I said it's like you can definitely argue that, and that dude could actually get on TV and say, hey, this is what's been happening, just what you said, and it would make sense. It would make sense. We've had a rash of robberies. These two dudes came in here. They wouldn't buy anything, and I didn't know what to do, so I called the police because I wanted them to leave because I didn't want any of my paying customers to be robbed.
Good conversation, man. Good conversation. This is the kind of conversation when I open up the lines I was wanting to have with people. You don't have to agree with me. Make me think. Make me have to answer your scenarios. Make me have to answer your questions. And you did that. So I want to thank you for that, brother. I'm going to cut this out and put it up as a video itself.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it too, man. You made me think shit. Because that whole rash robbery thing, that just got my shit all twisted. Because if I was that dude, I would have said that even if it hadn't been happening. Shit, that would have smoothed all that shit over.
Right. That's what he should have said.
To say that.
But see, that's what's fucked up. That's why I was saying to you at the beginning. We have too many people trying to use other people. Like, if that dude wanted to be like those people, he could have used it and said, well, since there ain't no video of what happened beforehand, I'm going to lie and say what happened beforehand.
Yeah.
Because that's what they could be doing.
They can't prove that I didn't.
They can't prove I didn't. And they're not going to want to release it because the beginning of that video would, even if it showed that I'm lying, it would show that they lied too.
Yep.
So he could put him in a spot. And I guarantee you that manager, let me tell you guys something. I'm not stupid. I guarantee you that manager was paid off as he was fired. Starbucks ain't dumb.
I thought he got relocated. I didn't know he got fired.
Oh, well, somebody said he got fired. I don't know. I have to look into it. But I guarantee you, if he was fired,
I'm not 100% sure either way. But I thought he probably just got relocated. I
can guarantee you this though: if he was fired, guarantee you he was fired with a nice severance.
He got a check too.
Yeah, they let him know. You know we got to do this, right, Bob? And he's like, you fucked up, but I know you got to do it. We're going to talk to our people over there at Caribou. We're going to let you go over there and work at Caribou. We didn't release your name. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to give you...
that happens more often than you think.
More often than you know.
Man, we got to let you go. Yep, we'll pay you a year's salary. You got full benefits for the rest of the year. And I'm going to put a word in to my buddy over at Bigby to get you another job. Absolutely.
And it is what it is. Because and that's why I was trying to tell the caller who called in earlier. Look, business is business. I'm not going to sit up here and not fire this dude. If I'm getting all this backlash to where the whole public is saying he's wrong, that we're wrong as a company, I must now separate myself from the individual to save the company. It's just common sense. Why do you think there are people walking around with nubs for fingers? Because the doctor told them either I cut your finger off or if I cut your finger off or your whole body gonna die. Which one you want? I cut your leg off or your whole body gonna die. Which one you want? And if people are accepting the leg cut off, I'll probably just stick with my leg.
Pink legs, and I'm gonna run in the Olympics.
Right. So if we know that's the case, then business is done the exact same way. I'm not gonna keep you here and lose my business. I'd rather lose you and shake your hand after and just tell you, look, we had to do this. It's the same way with Nixon. Nixon, we got to let you go, right? Yeah. But if we let you, if you resign, you get to keep all your benefits. You get to stay ex-president. And as soon as you resign because of what you're doing wrong, we're going to pardon you. That's what happened, right?
Wow.
Yes, they let him know if you keep fighting it, it's out of our hands. If you resign, though, you get to keep everything that came along with being a president. And as soon as you resign, the next president who walks in the office is going to pardon you. That's exactly what happened.
There it is. Yep.
So, I tell you what, Brian,
brother,
man.
I appreciate this, man. It was a good call, man. Good talk, man. I miss you, brother. I miss you.
Well, we're going to get it done. We got to have more conversations like this, damn it. People, will we disagree? I think that'll draw people in just to hear us argue. Them niggas gonna be arguing tonight at 9:30. Shit, girl, I'm about to turn in. Them niggas about to argue.
I'm gonna have to go back and look and see what these niggas was putting in the comments, man. They like, man, the guru and the whore gonna be no more.
You know what I'm saying? They like, there goes that experiment. But no, people don't understand. I actually like people to disagree with me. Because when you challenge me, I get to think. I don't get to think when people keep saying, I agree with you. Well, then shit, what did I learn?
Yeah, right. Yes, sir.
So thank you very much, man.
Have a good time with your brother, man. Enjoy your night, man. Yes, indeed. Peace out to everybody in Soto Nation, man. Salute to you guys.
Thank you very much, man. I'm going to see if I can get a few more calls in here. I don't know if I done waited too late. He looked like he kind of pissed.